I have one friend who wears a turtleneck, and there's actually a picture of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh my God.
And
I can't. That's like such a... Wait, that's from a movie that he was in, right?
Hold on. I'm going to pull up the photo of Dwayne Johnson in the turtleneck.
He's
you know
he's
it, right?
in a black turtleneck. I know exactly.
And like I've got a friend who actually
With
has a chain and a
jeans.
black turtleneck, and it's like you.
Yeah, with
How
jeans
is that
and-
back in?
Yeah. No, I don't think that's back in.
I'll let him know that it's not back in. Oh, welcome to the Rom-Com Rewind podcast.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Devin.
And like you, I love rewatching movies over and over again.
You made it to us. You found us. You love romantic comedies, which is great news because we do as well.
And if you can't tell, I'm really sick with a cold.
Oh, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. Keep going.
So this is a show where we rewatch... This is a show where we rewatch rom-coms, break them down a bit for you, maybe take a peek behind the curtain, take beneath the surface, and decide, does it still hold up?
Today we have
The Lake House.
And we also have a special guest on the pod. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Bingo Lady Sarah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, you know what? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really happy about feeling the way I do today.
So Sarah is, you got a sore throat situation. You're sneezing a lot. You have a headache.
I have a cough, cold, and
additionally to that, pink eye. Thank you
to our toddler.
The daycare system for providing us all of those colds.
Yes, all at once. And because I am expecting, I can't take anything for it.
So we have miserable, curmudgeon-y Bingo Lady Sarah here.
I will do my best.
It's honestly pretty comical.
Oh my God. I can't wait to hear myself.
Yeah, do us a favor. I mean, first of all, this is going to be one of the least edited episodes just because I think now that we've qualified your situation, we kind of just need to leave all that
Really? You'd do that to me?
gravelly voice.
Although right now my
there.
voice is pretty good. We'll see how it like goes through the whole pod.
I think the more you talk, the better it's going to get, actually, for a point, and then you'll start to diminish. So let's hammer through it.
So let's get going.
Let's get going.
Mm-hmm.
We have a message. Oh, by the way, the best way you can support the pod on Instagram, at Romcom Rewind, please throw us a follow. Even throw us on your stories. Tag us. Tell a friend. We got a message from Emma a little while ago saying, I've just started listening to the pod this past month and really love listening to you both talk about my favorite movies from growing up. I especially love Sarah's quick facts every week. It's actually going to be Devin's quick facts this week.
It is going to be Devin's quick facts. Thank you, Devin.
To save Sarah's voice a little bit. Emma would really love for us to both do When Harry Met Sally. It's an all-time favorite movie and really feel one of the OG rom-coms. I know I'm biased, but I feel it really established the 90s, 2000s template for romantic comedies, progressing away from the 1980s Brat Pack teen romance movie trope of the decade. Super good feel, and I feel y'all would really like it if you haven't seen it already.
All right, so let's establish. We want to watch this movie just as much as you guys want us to do this movie. We have been waiting for it to come on streaming services for years. So as soon as it does in Canada, one, if you're Canadian, please let us know when it's on. We do try to take a look when it is, but yeah, we keep our eyes open for it. But When Harry Met Sally, as soon as it's on there, we will do it because we want to watch it too.
So many requests for it, and I feel like it is a very, like, if you look at lists for like best fall movies, it's always on there.
Well,
so
yeah.
every fall we basically see, like, is it around? And every fall thus far it hasn't been.
Yeah, I think it was on in the last few years for a very short amount of time, and it was not during the fall, which is, I think, why we didn't do it or something. Or maybe it hasn't been. I don't know.
Yeah, we just got to jump on it when we see it, I guess. Today, however, we have The Lake House.
Yes.
Which is a 2006 fantasy romance directed by Alejandro Agresti. It's based off a South Korean film. The Lake House is the story of Kate Forster, played by Sandra Bullock. Kate is a physician living in Chicago, and she is starting a new job at a downtown hospital. She moved from a really unique lake house. It's unclear, but we just know, like, it's probably in Illinois, and it's just probably a little bit outside of Chicago. She leaves a note for the next tenant to let them know a few of the quirks about the house. On Valentine's Day, the person who appears to be the new tenant of the house, Alex, played by Keanu Reeves, he arrives, he discovers the letter, and also discovers some discrepancies with the note. Specifically, there were some dates that were kind of strange, so Alex writes back to Kate. And we soon realize that they are actually communicating through time.
Via time loop.
Alex is living in 2004, 2 years to the date before Kate. She's living in the year 2006. And through that mailbox at the lake house, they can actually communicate with each other. And perhaps also fall in love. Hint, hint. What are your thoughts on the lake house?
Dear new tenant, welcome to your new home. I'm sure you'll love living here as much as I did.
What do you mean you lived here?
Since no one has lived in this house for years.
For argument's sake, what day is it there?
April 14th, 2004.
No, it's April 14th, 2006.
It's the same day, 2 years apart.
I have never watched this movie because I thought it was, I thought it was going to be like a tearjerker, which it was, but like in a lot of emotional ways. But it was really good.
Yeah.
I think it is amazing when a movie cannot have two main characters share a single scene until almost the end of the movie or the end of the movie. Like I said,
Incorrect.
almost. Okay.
Technically, there is a scene where they do share.
One or two scenes throughout the movie. Let's say that. One or two scenes throughout the movie, but the chemistry is undeniable.
Yeah.
Like they do. It makes me now think and look back at other rom-coms that have come out and said, how is there no chemistry here with you guys?
Yeah.
And there's chemistry with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock's characters in the lake house. Like,
Yeah.
how do you do that?
And it's just
they're
them
that
reading
good.
each other's letters.
And they're that good. That's how great they are. I liked this duo. I mean, this is a less fast version of Speed. No, just kidding.
A very fast version of Speed.
But yeah, like, I mean, they were great in Speed together. They're great in this, and I loved to see them together. I thought this movie was really good. This is definitely going to be a rewatch for me moving forward. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it was kind of like I was sleeping on it, and I loved it.
I feel like this is a very like a really nice, easy romance, which we almost never get. We often get the nice, easy rom-coms because it's easy to keep things fresh, but this is mostly romance. And typically in a romance, to keep viewers engaged, you got to make it spicy. You got to draw on some drama or something. This film didn't really have those big set pieces. I mean, there was one big set piece at the end, but throughout the film, it was just kind of like easy and lovely and honestly very peaceful a lot of the time, kind of like how I imagine an actual lake house in real life. I thought it really worked for me with Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves. I agree. They did have a lot of chemistry, but they also, their characters were designed in a really nice way. They just both feel like the gentlest of souls.
Yeah.
It made them both very endearing, and it made the situation believable where you're like, oh, I could see two people like this really hitting it off, and I get it. I get that. Y'all who listen to the pod a lot, if you're on the RCR, if you're a part of the RCR fam, you know that's one of my big things. I need to believe the love.
Yes, I do believe the love.
I believe the love in this one. I saw it. I'm like, this has that thing. I will say a byproduct of everything we're talking about, it did get a tiny bit boring at times, but that's okay because we have for you, ladies and gentlemen, a movie that is 1 hour and 34 freaking minutes.
Yes. I
love that.
I love a good movie that can wrap everything up in the amount of time, but have it finished. Like I felt finished when I watched it.
Yeah.
I did have one outlining question, but
I also have one outlining question.
Okay.
Outlying question.
Outline. I don't know why I said lining.
It's because Bingo Lady Sarah is... She's out in the rhubarbs, you know? She's just...
You can't make me laugh.
If you laugh too
God.
much, you cough. That's a new quirk to the pod. But yeah, like this movie was kind of just slow going through the plot points, and for the most part, I actually really appreciated that because we don't often get a slow-moving romance like this. It was really nice.
And you used the word calm at the very beginning of what you were saying.
Yeah.
I did feel a sense of calm watching this movie, which is an interesting thing that you said it, and I immediately was like, oh my gosh, that is what I felt during watching this movie. Two other things though, before we dive in. What is the magical aspect or point in like of the
Are we asking the question?
well, I have to ask because it could be two things.
Okay.
It can be, or the time loop aspect, right? It could be the mailbox.
I don't think it's a time loop.
Well, it's not a time loop. I've seen it when doing some research for this movie. The time loop word was used.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a time loop. I think it's a hole in time, or like a break in time. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
What is the break in time, I guess, or what is the time piece here? Is it the mailbox, or is it the dog, or is it both? Because the dog, my outlying question is, where's the dog at the end of the movie? The dog runs off.
I did notice that. Yeah, maybe
and
the dog.
we don't have.
Yeah.
Maybe the dog was to bring them together, and it was like this mystical, magical piece, and like the dog, you know, because we never really knew where the dog just showed up.
Yeah, the dog just showed up. There is a time loop aspect to it. You're right. Okay, so I'll be honest. In prepping for the pod, I did a lot of research on time travel.
Oh, Devin's gonna go time travel.
And one of the biggest things that I read, like from like novel writers, like novelists, they're like a key problem with writing a story with a time loop or with being able to go back in time is that anything that you have, like once time travel becomes available, anything that you would go back in time to do, you already did, technically, you know?
Right.
You know what I mean? So...
yeah.
Did the dog arrive because the time travel began and it's like the dog represents the ability to time travel or something like that?
Or their love, like their destiny to end up, and he was there to provide them, you know, Alex running into Morgan, walking into the house, or like there were certain time pieces throughout the movie that the dog allowed and showed up in and made happen in order for them to meet. Because
in Kate's first letter, she says, like, sorry about the paw prints, they were here when I got here, which would imply that the dog always existed. But what I'm saying
in
is like
her timeline,
the dog could always travel through time.
Right.
So the paw prints already existed, and then the dog shows up for... I can't remember his name. I feel like Keanu Reeves is
Jack.
just Keanu Reeves. Jack.
Oh, yeah. No,
In so
Alex.
many
His name is
movies-
Alex. The dog's name is Jack.
You said Jack, and I'm like, yeah, that's Keanu Reeves. Any movie Keanu's in, aside from The Matrix, because he's Neo, and that's kind of unique.
His name is literally Jack Wick. Oh, no, John Wick.
John Wick. No, it's Keanu Reeves. He's just Keanu. Anyway, that's my one of many rants I'm about to go on about time travel in this movie.
Yeah, it is something that I was kind of like perplexed about. I was like, oh my gosh, what's the magical aspect, or what's the time piece here?
Yeah.
I was very interested because in real time you could see the mailbox go up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yes.
So you know that was happening in real time over 2 years. But you also had the dog that almost, it was like the tether to both timelines.
Maybe. But the physical way to communicate was obviously the mailbox.
Yes, but it was interesting because they both loved the dog, but in the end, where was the dog? Anyway, was the dog the love that they needed to find within each other? I don't know. Getting deep here.
Maybe there's a hole in time that only exists at the mailbox, but the dog created it. The dog made it happen. I don't know, guys.
It's a lot.
There's a lot to think about. I've got a lot more time stuff on the way.
Let's dive in. We meet Kate. She's leaving the lake house empty and putting a letter in the mailbox. We see Alex get there, and that is Keanu Reeves' character, to the house, and it's not as beautiful as it once was. And so we can kind of tell from this point on there might be some time difference here of when the new tenant moves in. We find out that Kate's character is a doctor and Alex is an architect, which is perfect in the sense that Alex can now fix up the house. Alex reads Kate's letter and she says two things in the letter. Sorry about the paw prints and the box in the attic. They were there when I moved in. Alex begins fixing up the house and sees a dog come And as he's painting the walkway, a dog comes over and makes footprints or paw prints all the way down it, which makes sense. The paw prints were already there when she moved in. So again, the timepiece kind of alludes immediately. In Kate's time, I'll just say that Kate is having lunch with her mom outside a hospital that she works at now in downtown Chicago. And they see a car accident where a bus hits a car and then the car hits the man. And so Kate runs over. It doesn't go over well. She goes and is told by one of her colleagues, another doctor, saying, go to a place where you enjoy and where you feel at peace, because if you don't, it's just going to all catch up to you and you're going to just bury your emotions. You need to go somewhere. So she goes, of course, back to the lake house. When she gets there, there's a letter saying, literally written to her from this new tenant, Alex, saying he believes that the lake house has been empty for several years.
Mm-hmm.
Kate writes back. She tells him she used to live there. She lives in Chicago now, and tells him that it's the year 2006. Goes to Chicago after 4 years. This is Alex. He wants to hand deliver a letter to where this mystery Kate woman lives. And he goes and catches up with his brother first. We find out that he doesn't have a good relationship with his father, but still is on good terms with his brother. He gets to where Kate's address is supposed to be, and it hasn't even been built yet. Again, we realize more than likely he is the one living in the past. He sends a letter back saying it's 2004 and that her place is basically a construction site. When she gets the letter, she sends a photo of the date and the day that it is and what will happen on that day. Tells him that it's going to be a freak snowstorm, and sure enough, there is. The next letter he sends is this, can this be happening? And they start writing back immediately, and we see the mailbox little thing go up and down, and it's like happening real time where they're replying to each other and standing at the mailbox writing back to each other. I actually really liked this scene. I thought that was really cool. Like their realization and total like, yeah, this is happening. This is real. Let's do this.
I do love that aspect of this movie where, like, once again, it's an hour and 34 minutes. We get to the plot points quickly in this movie. There's no dancing around it. We're like, they're alluding to it very quickly. You, the audience, even if you don't know the premise of the movie, you're figuring it out pretty quickly. And I like that we didn't have characters who were like, oh, I don't know, how could this be? They're like, oh, yes, this is happening. Right.
Yeah.
They're committed very quickly. So we've established we are in a time, not a time loop, but a communication through time movie. I want for you, Sarah, to rank for me the top time movies.
Okay.
In two categories. Because, romantic comedies and romances, we love to make time movies that are romance based. So
there's literally one called About Time.
The first one on the board, Sarah, About Time. I want you to think about these and consider, and hit me with the top three once I'm done. Kate and Leopold is also a time movie.
I haven't seen that one.
There's The Time Traveler's Wife, which personally I think is fantastic.
We haven't done that one yet either.
We haven't done that one. When We First Met was a time, that was a proper time loop, I believe. Because he could, using the photo booth, he could go back to time, in time. 13 going on 30, obviously. She's transported to the future. Ghost of Girlfriend's Past. Matthew McConaughey ends up reliving his past, which is not quite a time movie, but he is, in a sense, traveling through time.
Right.
He can't change anything. He can just see what's occurring in the past. Midnight in Paris. Our boy Owen Wilson, he goes to these bars in Paris and is transported back into time to meet his heroes. Groundhog Day. That's a proper time loop. That is a true time loop. Every day he wakes up and it's the same day. It's freaking Groundhog Day. And then Lisa Frankenstein is a new one, which we haven't done yet.
Yes, correct.
So it would be hard to rank, although it is on your fantasy rom-com team, but she does travel back to the 80s.
Okay. Wow, this is hard because I haven't seen half of them.
Okay.
So let's do About Time, Time Traveler's Wife, because I know that one's going to be like a tearjerker, amazing one.
Oh my God, it's
and, 13 going on 30.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to have 13 going on 30 on there. Don't sleep on Midnight in Paris, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, and I haven't seen it, but I know it's going to be good,
Really good. And then there are a lot of others. There's Back to the Future, which is like
an
all-timer.
Definitely.
The Butterfly Effect.
Oh gosh, yeah, that one sat with so many people for so long.
Yeah.
Like that one was some like mind, you know.
What? You know what? I just realized it's not on the list, and I actually thought about it. That one that you and I really like, The Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, if you have not seen The Edge of Tomorrow, you have to watch it.
That's also a proper time loop.
It's like an action romance. It's not thriller, but it's like, but it's kind of thrillery. It's got some like edge of your seat for sure. But it's so good.
A little bit of suspense there. That one's really good. That's also
Really
a
good.
proper time loop. The Tomorrow War. Boy, Chris Pratt.
Oh
thrown
yeah,
into
that
the
one's
future.
fairly new. Yeah.
Yeah. Interstellar has a time piece to it. Premonition actually stars Sandra Bullock. This is the second time she's been in a time movie. Tenet is new. Click with Adam Sandler. Remember that one where he has the remote?
Oh my God,
He
yes.
can like reverse things
Yes,
and
his
stuff.
remote control for his TV. Is it called Looper?
Literally the next one on my list. That's also kind of a time
That
loop as
one?
well.
It definitely is. That one was like, I remember watching that one and just sitting there and being like, whoa,
Yeah,
that was cool.
that it is cool.
Bruce Willis was so good in it.
Bruce Willis so good. Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a young
Yes,
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, like it was just such a mind. Like, yeah, I was like all into it. I really liked that movie.
That one was wild. And last, I'll mention Hot Tub Time Machine. Anything?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Does it count?
You
I
have
don't
to.
know.
The guy when he goes, oh my God, I can't think of his name right now, but when he goes back and he creates, and I say this in like bunny ears, creates Google back.
Oh, did that happen in Hot Tub
Yeah.
Time Machine?
So he becomes like super uber rich because of all these like futuristic things that he knows about, brings them back with them. Anyway, hilarious. Ridiculous. Alex and Kate introduce themselves via letter. They even realize they have the same dog. Again, no big deal. They just go along with it. Like
They're very committed.
they're just like
to the time loop thing.
They're falling in love. They've been talking for a few months now. It's now summer. They take a walk in the city, but over 2 years.
That was really that. Okay.
This was my favorite. Like this was my like. I would say this is my best scene.
I was gonna say this is my best scene. It's not. I wouldn't call it my best scene, but this is the scene that made me believe in the
Yes.
chemistry.
Yeah, agreed.
Because, like, how do you create chemistry where your two main characters are never going to see each other? This guy's an architect, and he takes her on a tour of all the cool architectural spots
Yeah.
in Chicago.
Chicago.
It reminds me a little bit of 500 Days of Summer,
A
although
little bit, yes.
that would come after this movie. Yes, this scene sold me on the, okay, I get it.
This will work,
I
yeah.
get how you're building the love here.
So he sends a map through the mailbox, sends his favorite things mapped out on the city. They exchange the things they like through letter. But at the end of the walk, Alex has even left a graffiti note on a wall saying, you know, Kate, I wish, I'm so happy you came on this walk with me. Like, I wish I could have been actually there with you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that is what love is like over the course of 2 years, you know?
Totally.
Like over 2 years. Not that the time thing can actually happen, but if it did, that would be the love.
So I've got a question, a small little quirk to this film that I'm kind of like, why don't we just do this?
Oh my
Because
gosh, yeah.
actually, you know what? I'll get to it later.
Okay.
Because there is another scene where I'm like, yeah, this makes this. There's a little bit of a crack in the foundation here that I need to ask the question about. We'll get to it though.
Kate has lunch with her mom where she tells her about Alex from 2004. Again, she's not super uber concerned about it. The mom just is like, yeah, well, if you like him, go for it. It's like, there's no concept here.
Yeah.
Like maybe time travel is real there. Like, I don't know. Obviously it's not, but like, it's just not an issue.
Even Alex's brother brings it up later in the movie, and he's like, "Oh, the time girl. Like, you're still fixing up."
I just think they don't
lake house."
believe them. Like, I just think that
Yeah.
they just don't believe them. And they're just like, maybe like, you know what? You're going through something. We're just going to let you go through it. Like, I don't know. Alex goes to see his father and gives him old sketches that were his. And we kind of figure out in those old sketches, they have to be something that is near and dear to both Alex and his father's heart. We find out later that his dad actually built the lake house. And that that's why Alex wanted to fix it up and get it back to its former glory. In a letter that Kate writes to Alex, she tells him that she misses the lake house and the trees outside of the home were her favorite to look at. And he takes, and this is kind of another conceptual like time thing where he takes one of the trees in his time, plants it at the construction site of her condos, and then in that moment, because it's all happening real time via letter, the tree just appears where she is, the only tree. I wish it would have said to Kate or something to tie it all together.
Which, okay. Can we go over the rules of time travel?
I would love to, because I'm so, sometimes I sat during this movie and I was like, I don't get it. Oh, I kind of get it now. And then, oh, do I get it?
Yeah. Because there's a lot of so there's a general consensus that like once you're able to travel back in time, like the reality you're in already contains the thing you changed. You know what I mean?
Right. That makes sense. And as much as time travel makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what I can say? You know, like, does that make sense to you? Because like, that is like, it makes sense, but it totally doesn't.
But and so I've realized a lot of movies and a lot of pop culture and a lot of stories we're getting now, because there are so many paradoxes with time travel, a lot of stories end up with the whole, we'll just do a new timeline thing.
Right, yes.
Like in Marvel,
X-Men,
they're like,
Marvel,
how do we explain
everything.
going back in time? Wouldn't you change the future and blah, blah, blah? And it's like, no, it's just a different timeline. There's a timeline where everything's
There's a
effed up.
multiverse.
There's a multiverse, and you're just going to go back. When you go back in time and change things, you're changing your own timeline. But there is a timeline where the change didn't happen. So is that what is occurring here? By him moving the tree, are we saying now there's a new timeline where the tree's in one position and previously?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think
Are you
there's
sure?
I think there's a point in the movie where I saw the conversion of the two timelines and then they broke again, if that makes sense.
No.
And okay. see, like, I think we could all talk about time traveling and these loops and these lines and these connections forever and not fully understand it. If any of you understand the lake house, please let us know.
We should have got an actual astrophysicist on the pod for today,
gosh.
because it could help a lot, honestly. Because I was under the impression then it's like, okay, well maybe we're making two new timelines.
Maybe
Where they can still talk to each other through time, but like there's a new one.
I am no time expert. Maybe you're right.
Because at the end of the movie, it gets confusing again. Based on how it ends.
It does. Yes, how
it ends. You would
ends.
assume then
I'm like,
that everything had changed.
Yes. Okay. That, but like I said, it comes together and then it splits again. For
Yes.
me.
Yes.
And I think at that point where it comes together, it splits into two different timelines now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We're speaking the same language, just can't get it on point.
But so now I'm saying there's like multiple timelines out there.
Oh, there's too many.
There's so many. Yeah.
I can't keep track.
Too much for Bingo Lady Sarah. She's
A little too much. So Kate writes to Alex a letter saying that she forgot something on a train station 2 years ago on the day that belonged to her father that she cherished very much. If he finds it, put it in the mailbox. And we see that when Alex goes to the train station on that day, we actually see Kate.
Okay.
She is making out with her then boyfriend, Morgan.
Yeah.
And she gets on a train, more than likely to, I don't know, probably to the city. But, and he sees her.
Yeah.
He actually sees her and can kind of put everything together and grabs a book that was left on a bench, Jane Austen, Persuasion.
And now here's my complaint about this movie.
Okay.
Because later on, in a little bit, we're going to get to a point where Kate says, we should go out for dinner. And Alex says, like, how about Thursday night? And so we're thinking Alex needs to wait 2 years until that exact Thursday night because Kate goes out for dinner and he doesn't show up. Here's the thing. He literally just saw her back in 2004. Why didn't they do that instead? Like, hey, on this date, I'm going to be over here.
Yeah.
Why don't you come and introduce yourself to me?
Because she is not in love with the 2004 version. She's in love with her version of 2006 him, right? Like, okay, I'm not making sense.
Sure.
Like, he would have to convince her to be in love with him when
Yeah.
that's not the version of her that would be in love with him, if that makes sense.
You don't think it would work? You don't think 2004
I think it would take a lot of time.
Alex could walk up to her, strike up a conversation, and maybe explain the whole thing to her and be like, "Hey, what? Maybe you seem crazy that way."
I do think he could have tried it and then just written and said, "Hey, I tried this." But then would that have changed the future?
I've got a question for you, Sarah.
But they never talk about changing anything in the future of the things that they do in the past. Anyway.
2 years before you and I met,
Yep.
if I walked up to you and introduced yourself, even if you were dating somebody else, and struck up a conversation, do you think like something could happen there? Or would you be like, no, I'm not the version of me I need?
Oh my God. You're taking it literally. Like, I just think.
Well, yeah. Ooh. That's a tough one.
It is tough. Well, yeah, because I'm obviously with the person I'm supposed to be with now, right? Like.
Right. So I'm saying, like, if they were truly star-crossed lovers, couldn't Alex have met her 2 years earlier and it'd still work out?
You know what? In literally, I would say maybe 10 minutes after this, we do find out that it could have happened. So let me continue.
Why don't we jump into that?
There's a girl at work where Alex works and tries to ask Alex out, but it's not going to work. Jack, the dog, jumps out of the car, runs off. He follows Jack, the dog, runs all the way to a house that Morgan, Kate's boyfriend, is moving into, or not moving into, but moving things into. And I think it lines up, like, he talks about his girlfriend, that Kate is also there, and Alex kind of gets his interest piqued. And we find out that they're having a party that night. It's Kate's birthday. And Morgan, who literally just met these people, asks Mona and Alex to come to the party, which Alex, of course, says absolutely.
Because he's suspicious. He thinks he knows that this is Kate's significant other.
Yes, because they're talking about how they want to live on a lake house and how Kate always wanted to live in a lake house. And
what does your significant other do? Oh, she's a physician. Oh,
yes.
A lot of coincidences lining together.
Works at this place.
Yeah.
You know.
Could this be the Kate? It is.
Yes, it is. Kate shows up to her surprise birthday party and ends up meeting Alex. At the same time in her timeline, so like 2 years, she's having a drink at a bar with one of her doctor friends, and they're talking about life outside of the hospital and her past loves and how the guy who she can never meet she would give her whole heart to. And while she's sitting at the bar with her fellow doctor friend, she realizes that she in fact has met this guy who she would give her whole heart to. And they
at that party.
Exactly.
So we have Alex's point of view of the party, which I love. It is for Kate's birthday. And once again, this is occurring back in 2004. He obviously knows who Kate is. She does not know that Alex, is even there. But he ends up out on kind of like the back deck at a certain point, and Kate ends up, walking out and trying to grab some air. And he strikes up a conversation with her, Sarah.
Imagine.
Have you read Persuasion
What?
by Jane Austen?
I know it's it's my favorite book. Why did you bring something like that up? What made you bring that up?
I just, a friend of mine gave it to me recently, and I was wondering what it was about.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about waiting. These two people, they meet, they almost fall in love, but the timing isn't right. They have to part. And then years later, they meet again. They get another chance. They don't know if too much time has passed, if they waited too long, if it's, too late to make it work.
Such a moment in this scene. This was another one of those scenes where I'm like,
Yes.
hey, even though our couple is only going to meet once or twice, I get the love story here.
Mm-hmm.
They end up dancing. They end up kissing, Sarah.
They do.
And then what happens?
And then Morgan shows up.
Morgan
right
shows
there.
up and ruins the whole thing. But Alex is there and he knows this is Kate. Why didn't he try to pursue that? It drives me crazy.
I know. I do have that question of what would have happened if he would have opened that box there,
Yeah.
right? So they write back and forth saying, you were him, you were that guy from the party. And he's like, yeah, I know, but you had a boyfriend. And she's like, excuses. And they have their kind of first fight. And he gets a call that his father is in the hospital and he had a heart attack. Alex tells Kate that his father was the one that built the lake house with his hands before he was even famous. And we get a little backstory. Like, this movie has it all. They were actually able to dive into like their backstories of who these people were before meeting each other, all within an hour and 34 minutes. That before his father was famous, he was a family man. The house was a gift for his mother. But, you know, as soon as it was built, life kind of went on. He became more famous and impossible to live with. So Margaret, the mother, left him, but he never forgave her, and he never went to her funeral after when she became sick and passed away. Alex gets the news that his father passes away, and Kate checks her files in her time in 2006 and writes a letter back. She sends a copy of his father's memoirs that were to come out years after 2004. This made me cry. It was just such a moment of like care for him, even though, well, she's met him, but not, you know, just such a special, deep moment between the two of them. Sorry. Alex tells her that he wants to finally meet for real this time, and they're going to have to wait 2 years, but they say, okay, let's go to a restaurant. Let's book a time. Everything's booked at this reservation for 2 years in the future. She waits and waits and waits, but he never shows, and she doesn't know why. She writes him a letter saying, you weren't there. You didn't come. He says, something must have happened. I would have never missed this. I'm so sorry. Let's try it again. She says, no, we've tried it. It's not going to work. And he says, well, what about Persuasion? What about the book that you absolutely love and you believe in so much? And sometimes you just have to wait. And she says, I'm done. There was, there was this accident where a man died in her arms. Valentine's Day. Life is not like a book, and it can be over in a second. Tells him she needs to learn to live the life she has, and asks that he stop writing her and let him go. He checks the mailbox continuously, continues writing to her, but they don't get picked up. She's stopped coming to the lake house. She just wants to move on.
Can I jump in real quick just
Absolutely.
to ask you a question about Keanu Reeves' clothing choices in this movie?
Oh my God, the turtleneck.
The turtlenecks, thank you.
And it's such a Keanu Reeves, though. Like, he wore it, and I was like, yep, that's Keanu. Like, it just suits him. Literally.
Okay, you were sold on the turtlenecks.
I was sold. Because, like
yeah,
the
Keanu,
time,
let's go.
2006, like, the time of this movie, like, it was such a thing that he would wear. And it's so funny that you mentioned that. I knew exactly what you were talking about as soon as you said fashion, because it is something he could pull off. And I think he looks really good in it. It was actually really funny that you say that. Oh my gosh.
It reminds me of a movie he would do 3 years before this.
Okay.
Something's Gotta Give.
Yes.
Where Diane Keaton, a big part
God.
of her character
Is
the turtlenecks.
I
There's
know.
even some symbolism
I know.
where she's in a moment of intimacy and she gets cut out of the turtleneck, and that
I did think of Diane Keaton when he put it on.
He had so many turtlenecks that I'm just watching and I'm like, man, you and Diane Keaton were really
Into them.
You guys had a vibe back in the 2000s.
Early 2000s, yeah.
The turtlenecks made sense, man. Anyway, I just wanted to jump in and mention that.
It's so funny because I saw that and I was like, does he pull it off? He's wearing a turtleneck with a coat over top. Like, when I wear a turtleneck, it's usually like a thick turtleneck, and I don't need a coat because, like, I'll wear it not on like a super cold day. And
like
I'm like, you have a leather coat on top of your turtleneck. Like, was that a 2006 vibe?
I was going to say, like, turtlenecks
layering.
Turtlenecks cannot be as popular now as they were back then.
No, they're back. They're back.
Wait, what? They're
Yes,
back?
Yes. Everything that we wore is back.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Can we talk?
I saw a TikTok today about layering shirts and how, like, it's the new thing. Look at this new trend. And I'm like, that is not a new trend. I wore that. And I don't want to layer shirts again.
Can we talk about crochet real quick, Sarah?
Oh my God, yes. Crochet.
Sarah has a crochet dress.
Crochet is very in right now.
And she puts on this dress, and you're going on a trip very soon to somewhere warm.
Yes.
And Sarah's like, what do you think of this? It's a fully crochet dress.
It's super cute.
Top to bottom, crochet. And I'm like, honestly,
It's sleeveless. So.
that looks
not warm.
stupid. I think that looks
Oh my
ridiculous.
gosh. You said it was cute.
No, I said
Well, you didn't say
I
it was cute. You were like, oh, that's nice.
I said I don't get it, and then you said crochet is in, and
It
I'm like,
is.
okay, if crochet is in, then sure, it looks
Crochet
nice.
away.
But I think it looks stupid.
Oh my gosh. Well,
But hey, I'm not in on fashion, so
it's very springy, summery colors, so I figured it would go nice.
is crochet in DMS?
It is
at Romcom Rewind because I
Okay,
think
if you
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but if you guys tell me crochet is not in, I'm going to feel really stupid. So actually, can you tell me if crochet is in? Because then I won't wear it and I'll bring it back.
We need to know, is crochet? Yeah, we're gonna do a poll before you leave on your trip to find out if crochet is in or not before
right.
you pack.
Okay. Please do.
Like, I'm talking a full crochet dress. I'm not just talking like,
You know
oh,
what?
I'm wearing a beanie
I'm not
that's
going to
crochet
take a
or
picture
some
of me
shit.
in it, but I will take a picture of the dress.
Yeah, okay. Take
And
a picture
we'll
of
do
the dress.
crochet. Is
Post
crochet
it.
in? Yeah, we'll post it. Okay.
Turtlenecks also in, apparently. Who knew?
Yeah, I've
Seems
seen,
ridiculous.
Okay, in the winter I saw a lot of turtlenecks. I mean, the styles have like semi-changed with the turtlenecks. Like it's not men chunky knit sweater like turtlenecks anymore.
I was gonna say, are turtlenecks back in for guys? Because I don't think so.
I haven't seen them, but I also
I have one friend who wears a turtleneck, and there's actually a picture of Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh my god,
And
I can't. That's like such. Wait, that's from a movie that he was in, right?
hold on, I'm gonna pull up the photo of Dwayne Johnson in
I
the
know
turtleneck.
he's
you know
he's
it, right?
in a black turtleneck. I
yes,
know exactly.
And
what-
like, I've got a friend who actually
With
has a chain and a
jeans.
black turtleneck, and it's like you.
yeah, with
How is
jeans
that
and-
back in?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's back in.
I'll let him know that it's not back in.
Alex is out walking the dog, Jack, and he runs away. The dog runs away and he doesn't come back.
Mm-hmm.
Jack does not come back. And I don't know, again, if this is symbolism of, their tie completely breaking and him needing to move on because she's moving on. And I think it is. Alex begins the process for moving out of the lake house, takes all the letters he wrote her and she never opened, and puts them in a box in the attic. Alex goes to see Morgan, who is in fact still Kate's boyfriend. And this is where the time again begins to be a little bit muddled. They're still dating.
Well, they got back together at this point.
They got back together at this point. So like, again, they did have a chance earlier on in the movie to get back together and they didn't. And now they're back together. So again, I don't know if the time was split again. Can't really tell, but and asks him if he still wants to rent a lake house, tells him this is what she wants. And he goes, well, I don't know if you know what she wants. And it's like, dude, you don't even know.
You don't even know the half of it.
Alex gives him the keys and leaves with, oh yeah, Jack the dog staying with Morgan. There is the dog after with Morgan. So that's when Kate must get the dog.
There you go. There's the dog.
Okay. There's no conspiracy here. I'm glad I wrote it down in my notes. Someone was paying attention.
It was Sarah on last Thursday.
Alex moves to the city, back to Chicago, and is fixated on the lake house. And his brother says, you are literally like obsessed with this thing. And why, he asks, why aren't you writing to the Time Girl anymore? And Alex says, you know what? I love her, but she wants to move on. Like, I absolutely love this girl. Like, I want, but it's just not going to work out. At home, Kate finds something under a floorboard. I don't know where this happened. When would he have stashed the book? They're not in the lake house. So how would she have gotten the book Persuasion under a floorboard in their house?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Did he do it at the party?
Maybe.
He would have had to have done it at the party when he was there.
That makes the most sense.
She finds it wrapped in plastic and she is just overwhelmed, and she knows that it was him.
Yeah. So now we're getting to the key part in this movie. Kate, they go to an architecture firm. They're, looking at getting some designs done. And this is now Valentine's Day of 2008. So we are 2 years to the date that the letters started. And at this architecture firm, it ends up being Alex's brother, who we've already met. So we as the audience are like, oh my God, that's Alex's brother. Kate sees a drawing of the old lake house and she brings it up. She's like, what? I lived here.
Who did this drawing?
My brother did, actually.
Who's your brother?
Alex Weiler. Did you know him?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Do you know how I can get in touch with him? Is he anywhere that I can?
I'm sorry. He died 2 years ago today, actually.
And we as the audience realize that guy who gets hit by the bus when the letters first start, that was Alex. That was Alex going to meet Kate on that day. He waited 2 years to go see her, and he dies in a car accident, and that's when the letters start. So she quickly runs to the mailbox. She realizes she has to stop this from happening. She puts a letter in the mailbox, and she's praying, and simultaneously we're seeing Alex go to that square. He can see Kate across the street just hanging out on a park bench, and we see the bus and the car coming around the corner, and he's reading Kate's letter, and Kate's letter is saying,
And it's taken me all this time to say it, but I love you. And if you still care for me, wait for me. Wait with me. Just wait. Wait. Wait 2 years, Alex. Come to the lake house. I'm here.
and Alex finally arrives in that old beat-up pickup truck. But a really weird time loop thing where we realize the guy who died was Alex, and that's when the letters started. So there's some kind of cosmic significance there, I think.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of where the way you say it is makes more sense. But I think in this timeline, does she? So you had said when she was at the firm, the Visionary Vanguard Associates architect firm, she was saying, "Oh my God, this house," and he goes, "Oh, you're familiar with it," and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know it." In this timeline, I don't know if she's lived in it because she would have had to have lived in it with Morgan, but I don't think she did because they never were really apart, right?
No, she still lived in it for sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still her lake house. Well, it's still the lake house she lived in.
There's a little bit of confusion for me.
Well, and there's also the element that, like, now they've officially... I think now they've officially created a new timeline because Alex never died, which is weird
Right.
because the letters still happened, and I think the letters in a weird way happened because he died.
There's some questions.
Can we also bring up another question? I would love to ask you, the audience, a question. What is the worst movie or show somebody has spoiled for you? Because I've seen this movie before, and we picked it, and before I even started watching, Sarah's like, "Oh yeah, this is the one where he's dead the whole time, right?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, is that?" And I'm thinking back, I'm like, maybe.
Again, remember, I haven't seen this movie.
Yeah, you hadn't even seen it. I had.
Which is one of the reasons why I didn't watch it, because I thought he was dead the whole time.
So...
I thought it was some Shutter Island stuff. Spoiler.
So then I'm like, oh man, is it? And I'm watching. And so when we're like 10 minutes into the movie, not even, and the car crash happens, that's when I remembered. I'm like, oh shit, he is dead. That's Keanu right there. He just died. But I did remember, I'm like, but that's not everything. I need to keep on watching this. But ladies and gentlemen, Sarah spoiled this whole
I know,
freaking thing
and
for me.
I'm usually really good.
And you
if I
spoiled
have
it for
seen-
yourself too.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did. But it still didn't stop me from enjoying it.
So a heads
thoroughly.
up, the honorable mention today for me, once we get there, is going to be worst spoiled movies. That's what we're going to talk about in honor of Sarah spoiling this for me.
You're welcome.
Although I'll be honest, I've watched it when it first came out, so rewatching it, I think you figure it out pretty quickly.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's honestly the hardest part of this movie. Well, for me anyway, is figuring out the time frames here.
Oh, I was
Because
just
clearly the ending got really mixed for me. And then they're walking down towards the lake house, all happy and everything. And I was like, I don't even know what year it is, but I'm happy they're together.
I don't even know when is it right now. It's 2008, Sarah. It's like probably the day after she went to the architect firm.
No, it's the day of. She had to make sure you didn't do it. So it would have been like the day. That's where she went.
They went back that. Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
So
like
she
it all
waits from
happened in real
that
time,
day.
right? While she was running to the lake house, not running, but driving, he went to the lake house too in the attic.
Right.
And was looking for the letters that whatever.
And we got to do more time movies because we need to freshen up a little bit.
Oh my God,
need
we
to
do.
Let's dive into quick facts. Lovely ending to this movie, though.
Yes.
You weeped here at the end?
No, not at the end.
Where did you weep? We missed a weep warning, Sarah.
No, I did say I cried. I cried when she gave him the architecture book.
Oh, yes, okay.
I think when you find out, even though I knew, my emotions were able to still cry when you find out, is she going to get there in time so that he doesn't step out in front of the car,
Oh, so you did cry there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So Devin's going to do quick facts today.
Oh, yes. It's a special guest on Quick Facts.
It is.
Bingo Lady Sarah has retired from Quick Facts. So feel free to still react, though, in the way that I would react.
Okay.
And this is great. Full transparency for the pod. Sarah wrote these, and I have literally not looked at them once until right this moment.
This is very correct.
So, here we go. Quick facts. The name of the exclusive restaurant in the film...
Ilmar.
This is Korean. So I'm expected to pronounce this correct. Ilmar.
It's Korean?
Yeah, it's based on it. That's the title of the Korean film that this movie's based on.
Yes.
How am I supposed to pronounce this?
Ilmar.
Ilmar.
I think you're doing
like.
a great job.
Okay. Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves are reunited for the first time since their blockbuster Speed.
Oh, yeah.
In 1994. And the dog in this movie was named Jack after Keanu Reeves' character in the movie Speed.
So cool.
Love to see it. The actual house did not exist, which is great because I was looking at it and I'm like, this seems unsound architecture. Did an engineer cross this off? Maybe not.
They had a lot of them to do it.
It was built for the movie and then dismantled. In using Google Earth to see the house, enter 41.7142, comma, minus 87.8901. That's probably the longitude and latitude, I'm assuming.
It definitely is. Yeah.
In the window on the Fly To tab. This will take you to the center of the lake. You can zoom to the clearing on the eastern shore, then select April 29th, 2005 as the date.
Okay, I have not checked this.
Oh!
So I usually do.
Great,
but I
quick
didn't
facts.
have time, so...
The lake house measured 2,000 square feet. Oh, that's lovely. And sat on top of steel beams 10 feet above the waterline. It used 35 tons of steel and required nearly 100 carpenters, welders, and painters to build it. Sandra Bullock revealed in Entertainment Weekly interview that the title house had running water but no toilets.
I know.
Where does it go down? It just drops right into the lake.
Well, I think they went elsewhere.
Oh, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you actually built this house for real, this is just probably a hole and it just jumps into the lake, right?
I mean, they would give toilets, but yes. Yeah.
Can't even put a septic tank out there, like, what are you doing? The lake house used was located on Maple Lake, a small and well-known haunted fishing lake located in Willow Springs, Illinois. Is my next quick fact about how it's haunted? No, it's not, ladies and gentlemen, so I have no idea how it's haunted or why it's haunted. Next quick fact. This was the first movie to be released simultaneously on DVD, HD DVD, and Blu-ray. Y'all remember Blu-ray? What even happened? Please DM the pod if you hate Devin doing quick facts that he's never read before, or if you actually like it. Because I'm having a good time here, but I feel like I also give no facts, so this might be horrible.
You're doing a great job.
I don't know.
You're doing a great job.
The movie Kate watches on television is Notorious from 1946 by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman. It seems both Alex and Kate drive vehicles that are also 2 years apart. Alex's pickup looks like a 1966 Chevy, and Kate's Mustang is apparently a 1968. Wow. That's cool. I never noticed that. The address of the building in Chicago in which Sandra Bullock lives is 1620 Racine. This
Sure,
added a little French accent
I like the
on it.
flair there.
This would place it in the same block as the apartment belonging to Sir Sean Connery in The Untouchables, circa 1987.
Yep.
Connery's character lived at 1634.
Fun fact.
So any of our listeners from Chicago, exciting stuff on that street. The construction site on which Reeves' character worked is real. It is owned by Pult Homes and is the Madison Park community in Aurora, Illinois. This is Keanu Reeves' third film involving time travel.
Yes,
the
it
first
is.
two being Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and also Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey from 89 and 91. John Cusack was the first choice for the role of Alex, but he declined. John
I
Cusack...
can see it. Like, he was in Serendipity. He was in... like-
Serendipity, which was just a few years early
Yeah.
before this. Yeah, I could see him wanting to branch out a little
But
bit.
I'm really happy that they chose Keanu to do this.
The tree in the middle of the lake house at the beginning of the movie is leafless. We only see branches. When the brothers are there, it is full, and when Kate looks back at the house one last time, it looks as though the tree is covered in red fall foliage. A Portuguese podengo.
Podango.
What is a podengo?
It's a kind of dog.
Oh, that's the dog.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
yeah.
Jack.
A Portuguese podengo named Nikki played the role of Kate and Alex's shared canine companion, Jack, throughout the film. Christopher Plummer starred in the time travel films Somewhere in Time back in 1980, also 12 Monkeys, and this movie, The Lake House. This is the second movie for Sandra Bullock, which takes place in Chicago, but 2 different seasons, and with almost 10 years in between. The first being, we just did this on the pod a little while ago,
Sleeping.
while you were sleeping.
That was a good one, too.
Yeah, not quite a time travel movie, but I guess maybe our main male protagonist might feel like it's time travel because dude was in a coma. Can't even remember that guy's name, but he's Sandy from The OC is who we're talking about.
Yes. Actually, we were talking about him last night.
Were we talking about him last night?
Yeah, a little bit. Anyway,
Maybe I wasn't there.
you weren't. I was talking. I wasn't talking to myself.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Just want to clarify. I was talking to my brother.
We were talking about that last night. Oh, were we? No, you weren't talking about it, but I was. Oh, no.
Well,
Thank you for sharing
no,
that.
you had said, "Oh, I can't remember his name," but I actually should remember it because we were just talking about him last night.
The way you said it sounded like I was part of the conversation.
I know.
All right.
Jeez Louise.
Simon Weiler's death date is listed as October 6th, 2004. October 6th is also the birthday of Swiss architect Le Corbusier,
Oh my God.
one of 2 architects mentioned as his influences when he designed the lake house. The other is Frank Lloyd Wright. Alex gets hit by a bus traveling to Wabash in the lake house. In The Matrix, back in 1999, Neo is sent to a hotel on the corner of Wabash and Lake.
Crazy.
And those were your quick facts by Devin.
Great job, Devin.
Hey, here are your...
There'll be a report card from the listeners.
Now we're on to honorable mentions.
I want...
Why are you looking at your computer? You have no honorable mentions. I already looked.
No, I know, but like, I'm debating whether it's a what should have been or an honorably mentioned. But like, honorably mentioned, Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves chemistry. Like, it's just so there when like they barely saw each other, and it's just I want more of them, and not just Speed and this movie. Like, I want more of them, and I also would like. No, this is from my what should have been, but I will let you do yours. Honorable mention.
Wait, so you already did your what should have been?
No, that was my honorable mention.
Okay.
My what should have been is something else.
Okay. I would love to honorably mention, and I think we've all had these moments of worst spoiled movies and series. Because Sarah,
Oh, that's right. You're
literally
going back
walking
to
into this movie was like, oh, it's the one where he's dead, and then they're communicating but the whole time he's dead, which isn't necessarily true.
No, I was wrong, but like I was kind of right.
But you were kind of right enough to annoy me about it.
I know.
When I
I'm
realized the
sorry.
premise of the movie was kind of that. So I have for you, as found on Reddit, real life worst spoiled movies for people stories. And I actually have a few of these stories too.
Did I do them all?
No, you did none of them.
Thank God.
This person says Star Wars Episode 3, when the movie came out, even though I consciously tried to avoid media, every single aspect of the movie was spoiled for me. The central plot points, everything. Not only did I see constant references to it practically everywhere, when I opened up the paper that morning, the climactic event where Obi-Wan Kenobi cuts the limbs off of Anakin Skywalker was the editorial cartoon that morning. Dude,
That's
that
hilarious.
sucks. Like, that's wild.
I mean, maybe he should have gone on opening night. Like, is that his problem? Like, that's his fault.
I mean, yeah, I get that. That's the thing now.
You can't stop the media.
If there's a movie that you don't want spoiled for you, you need to put blinders on until you see it, because
sure.
even with social media, it's worse.
I was gonna say social media for sure. Like between TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, like you just really you gotta steer clear.
This person says it happened to my daughter with Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Oh, I would be so devastated.
You know the main plot point in that
Yeah.
story. It had just come out. I read it fairly quickly, and I had done a marathon session to finish, but my daughter was still working on it. That weekend, we were dropping off our kids at summer camp, and we were standing in line at registration, and the woman behind us in line said, "I just can't believe that Snape killed Dumbledore."
I was gonna say, and then we find out that Snape is the Half-Blood Prince.
He is the Half-Blood Prince, and not only that, he's been working with Dumbledore the whole time. Do we find out that in the next book? That he was Dumbledore's inside man? He was
yeah.
kind of like a double agent?
Yes.
And he had to kill Dumbledore to save...
I honestly, vague, but yes, at some point, yeah.
He did it to save Draco Malfoy, right?
And as per Dumbledore's instructions.
Dumbledore wanted him to kill him, yeah.
He was the one that wanted it. Yeah.
Spoiled for this for this poor girl. This next person says mine was Star Wars The Force Awakens. It had been 2 weeks since the release of the movie. Dude, you wait 2 weeks?
I know.
Come on, bro.
I mean,
Anyway, I was staying with my brother and dad on a weekend trip, and while driving around town, my little brother asked, "Hey, you haven't seen the new Star Wars movie yet, have you?" "No, I haven't," I say. "Oh, so you don't know that Kylo Ren kills Han Solo?" Woo! That's a big reveal to be spoiled on
that
you.
is.
Those Star Wars movies were also really intense. Like
They were. Yeah.
I happened to be at a bar like maybe a couple weeks before that movie came out, and I was with a couple, and the girl in the couple was very loudly being like, "Let's talk about what we think our theories are," and she was trying to figure out actually just different theories of Star Wars, specifically who they thought, trying to figure out who Rey's father was. And the
Right.
guys at the table next to us, like, they actually came up to us and they're like, "Hey, like, we appreciate you want to talk about it, but like, we kind of want to walk in with fresh minds. Do you mind just not having this discussion?" And we were like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. Like, we're chilling." But that girl brought it up again like 30 minutes later, and I could visibly, like, I saw the guys at the other table like getting annoyed and getting upset, and I'm like, am I actually gonna get into a fight at this bar because this girl wants to talk Star Wars right now?
I mean, like, they could have moved tables.
They could have moved tables. She also just could have stopped talking about
For
it.
sure.
Like,
But I mean, it was nice of them to ask. But at that point, if it happens again, I don't know.
Walking Dead's social media account
Oh,
apparently
God.
posted a photo of a character's death within 30 minutes of one of their episodes
Ooh.
finishing.
I remember there was a death that everyone was like on the edge of their seats for.
Yeah.
That's actually when I didn't want to wait, so I just stopped watching.
So I actually spoiled the Red Wedding of Game of Thrones for myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
that was insane.
I started watching the series. Like, I also was reading the books around the same time, but I hadn't gotten to that point in the books. I was catching up on the series, and I was trying to time it so that like the next season came out as I was finishing
Oh, the book.
the previous. No, as I was finishing the previous season.
Oh,
So I looked up. I'm like, "Hey, when's the start date for the next season of Game of Thrones?" And spoiler warning, but like, there's Robb Stark, there's his wife, there's their mom.
oh yeah.
All of the. So I'm looking it up, and I actually thought I found a bad website because they're like, "Yeah, so and so signed on for the next season." It was like all these people are already filming, but Robb Stark wasn't there. Neither was his mom. Neither was his wife. I'm like, "Well, this isn't accurate." And then I realized, I'm like, "Oh, it's because they all die." And then
Yep.
like the next episode, it like when I was watching like that was the Red Wedding. I'm like, "Well, shit, I already knew they were all gonna die." Sucked.
That's a big spoil.
This person says, "I ruined the Red Wedding for myself. I was binge watching the show to get caught up since so many people were telling me how good it was. I came back to pick up where I left off, but accidentally started watching the episode after the Red Wedding.
Oh no.
Which, like, 2 minutes into that episode, they're parading around Rob Stark's dead body, and he's like, and then I realized I spoiled like one of the biggest moments in the show for myself because I just couldn't keep track of which episode I was on.
Yeah, total his fault. But again, like the Red Wedding, you still have to see it because it's just that insane.
Oh, that is cinematic.
Like that was just
perfection.
Like he didn't really spoil it for himself. Yeah, you spoil like who is no longer there, but like the fact you just got to watch it.
You just got to watch it. Those are my honorable mentions. Shall we move on to what should have beens?
My what should have been is I want Keanu Reeves to do another like romance movie for me. John Wick, you've done 5. 4 or 5. I don't know. I've lost track.
You
at
can
this
retire
point.
the John Wick a little
think
bit, okay?
I would like him to do another romance for me. You can dedicate it to me. I don't care. But like just do one because just he is so good. I think he's done some good rom-coms, you know. The Netflix ones, he's, you know, done some literal cameos, but has parts in them. But yeah, I think that's what I would like him to do. Is
So,
just come back.
I'm taking your what should have been, and I'm taking it a half a step further. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, they were together back in the mid-90s for Speed.
Oh yes.
This is their return together. My what should have been is a list of actors who I think have shown great chemistry together that have never actually done a rom-com together.
Oh,
So I want to honorably mention Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya. They're doing Dune right now, and they are, spoiler alert, together in Dune. But I would love to see Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya in like a proper romantic comedy together.
yeah, I'll watch mostly anything that he's in.
I think Timothée Chalamet has chemistry with a lot of people.
Yes.
But Zendaya is also like a really cool person to
I
be
was
in
gonna
that.
say I also really like Zendaya, so like I think
Can I interest you in Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck? They were together in the Justice League. And there was a little bit of he was Batman, she's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of chemistry there. There was a little bit of flirtatious, but nothing real. And the thing with Justice League is it ended up flopping. So they just didn't flesh out more of the story. We don't know where they would have gone with it. But I would love to see just like Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot together. I feel like that they work.
I would need to watch Justice League again to feel that connection.
Okay.
Ben Affleck, just not my jam right now.
Okay. Can I interest you in Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy? They have starred together twice.
Oh, yes.
Oppenheimer. And A Quiet Place Part 2.
Oh, that's too scary for me. Emily Blunt, yes.
She's in a romantic comedy
sure.
that like literally just came out, The Fall Guy.
May 3rd it comes out.
Yes.
So Friday. I would just like to say that I have heard they have great chemistry. Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt.
Yes, I believe that. Everything they've done promotionally for this has looked like great
Yes.
chemistry as well.
But I do agree. Cillian, Emily Blunt, I would like to see it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, I'm going to throw I just like this guy, and I was trying to figure out who have I seen him on screen with that I think it could work. Simu Liu, I think is freaking amazing.
I know, I love him.
How about Simu Liu and Margot Robbie? They starred together in Barbie. He was like the other Ken. He wasn't the main Ken.
He was the second Ken.
Yeah, so he didn't have a whole lot of scenes with Margot Robbie, but I just want to see Simu Liu do a rom-com with somebody. Give me somebody.
I was going to say, it's funny you say that because I actually think he could have a lot of chemistry with a lot of people.
Yes.
Someone who I could see him having chemistry with is Gina Rodriguez. She is right now, she was Jane the Virgin.
Hey,
She did
Players.
some Netflix. She was in Players.
Yeah.
I actually think there could be some chemistry there because I think they're both like, I mean, again, I don't know these people, but I think their humor and their comedy is on a similar level. And I think you could have a lot of fun with the two of them.
I like it. I like it a lot. Overall rewatchability. So I do want to preface everything I'm about to say by, have you looked this up on Rotten Tomatoes?
No.
We've got a 35% critic score
What?
and a 73% audience
Well,
score.
yeah, the audience clearly knows what they're talking about.
I was going to say, because my score is a lot closer to the audience score.
Same.
I've got a chemistry 4.89 out of 5. Yeah, we've talked about it. It's really, really hard to make chemistry work when you have two characters who almost never see each other.
Yeah.
There was that Reese Witherspoon, Ashton Kutcher movie not long ago.
Oh my God, Your Place or Mine.
Where they FaceTimed, and that was how they talked for the entire movie except for the last scene. And I'm like, I just don't get it. My big gripe with that movie was that I couldn't feel the chemistry, but this one had a similar issue. Well, not an issue, a
Storyline.
character. Yeah, a character, a plot point. But I thought they made it work. Storyline of 4.05, thirst factor of 4.11, imagination of 4.21. Like we said, lots of time loop, time change, time jump movies. This one was slightly unique, though, and I still appreciate that. Soundtrack was really good, 4.43. And Cheese, I've got a 4.35 for an overall score of 4.34 out of 5.
Okay, so mine is chemistry 5. Loved them together. Storyline 4.1. Thirst factor 4.5. Imagination 3.9 because there were some times where the time stuff lost me. Still to this day. Soundtrack 4.8 because I remember watching it being like, oh, I also watch it with subtitles. So I'm like, oh, this is a good soundtrack.
Right.
Cheese 4 for an overall score of 4.38 out of 5.
Here we go. This has been the Rom-Com Rewind of The Lake House. We've got a few things for you to message us, DM us on Instagram. We'll have the crochet dress up there. Also, let me know how you think I did on Quick Facts.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.